antimicrobial susceptibility test. First is to prepare the suspension by adding 3 ml of NSS to the test tube. Next is to add the bacteria to the test tube. To do this, apply antiseptic technique with the inoculating loop. Then get the bacteria from an isolate and mix it with the NSS properly. To make sure that you achieve the right concentration for the suspension, compare it with the McFarland solution. Always remember the labeling with the name and date. Now you can do the streaking with the lawn technique. Using an autoclave cotton swab, dip it to the suspension. Then streak in a horizontal motion. Always make sure every streak is close to one another. For the second streaking, rotate 90 degrees and do the same. Another 90 degrees turn for the third streaking. For the fourth streaking, rotate 90 degrees and do a horizontal streaking. And lastly, 2 circular motion on the side. Next is the adding of antimicrobial disc. In adding antimicrobial disc, use a forceps and apply antiseptic technique. From the dispenser, get the antimicrobial disc and put it on the Petri dish. For the placement, always make sure each disc is away from one another to avoid overlapping of zone of inhibition. Also, apply antiseptic technique for the forceps and every after application of disc. After putting all the antimicrobial discs, incubate the Petri dish for 24 hours and observe zone of inhibition. To determine whether the bacteria is susceptible or resistant of the antibiotic disc, measure the diameter of the zone of inhibition using a ruler. For the criteria, zone of inhibition with a measurement of greater than or equal to 18 mm means susceptible. 15 to 17 mm means intermediate. Less than or equal to 14 mm means resistant. Acid-fast bacilli, smearing, and staining. First thing to do is to label the slide with patient's name, date, and type of test. Next is using an alcohol lamp, apply antiseptic technique with the slide. This is done by heating 2 to 3 times both sides of the slide. Next, using a pointed applicator stick, get enough sample and start smearing. For the smearing, spread the sample in a coiling motion and following the template. The template have a specific measurement of 2 by 3 cm. Always make sure to do this fast since the sample dried out easily. After spreading it evenly and thinly, allow the smear to dry. After air dry, do the heat fixing by passing through the opposite side of the slide through the flame 2 to 3 times. Now for the staining. First is to flood the slide with carbol fuchsin. Second, heat the slide until the steam is visible. Then set the timer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, wash the slide with distilled water. Next is to flood the slide with decolorizer. Make sure that the stain is fully removed. Then wash it with distilled water. For the last stain, flood the slide with methylene blue for 30 seconds. And lastly is to wash the slide thoroughly with distilled water and allow it to air dry. Once the slide is dry, it is now ready for reading. For grading, follow the criteria shown.